especially with our sport, it's fascinating to see how things are treated, and I use quotations on treated because up until probably a decade ago, it was easily accessible to get Oxy, Percocet, Vicodin, whatever you wanted.
Did they make sure you weren't playing on that stuff?
No, you played, definitely. Yeah.
Wow. And what did you ever play on it?
Yeah.
What did you play on?
Percocet.
And what was the impact on your physical performance?
It was more for pain management, so I wasn't taking any high dosage, but stupid. Ultimately, here's the thing. I had knee issues for a long time, and you take anti-inflammatories, right? So you're taking anti-inflammatories that all come with a warning. If you take this more than a few weeks, you got to get your blood tested, right? Because it can do damage to your liver. There is so many different things you can take now for, anti-inflammatory things that are natural, that don't cause damage to your body.
Right, like CBD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But CBD is frowned upon, and it's always said, well, there's not enough research yet about, CBD and any, positive, help that it can do for your body. But we're still giving out painkillers, way less, and it's actually monitored now because there were a few teams that were abusing that. Again, this was over a decade ago, I think, when they really changed the policy. But no, it's just it's ass backwards, the whole treatment of the professional athlete. Definitely in our sport, that we're still giving out that kind of stuff.
When did they stop doing it as frequently? Was it when the opioid crisis kicked in?
No, there was I think there was one team that that people were kind of raiding the cupboards, and then they put a stop to it. So now it's more of a pharmacy-based thing where you got to sign in and sign out, and it's monitored and different things.
But they don't discourage players from playing on pain pills?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I can't imagine someone fighting on that stuff. I mean, the USADA is very strict in terms of like what you're allowed to take and what you're not allowed to take, and they test people very frequently. So much so that, Paulo Costa, who just fought in the last UFC, they actually tested him the day of the weigh-in, which caused a huge outrage because this guy cuts a lot of weight. He was dehydrating himself. They show up at his house at 6 o'clock in the morning and asked him to test, which is egregious, ridiculous. And they'll never happen again. They put a stop to it and made sure USADA doesn't step out of line. But at least they stop people from competing on things.
Which they should.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I can imagine.
In the NFL, for years, in 70s and 80s, there was a lot of stuff, guys were taking some crazy stuff. Even when I was in high school, people were taking Rip Fuel, which is basically speed.
Yeah.
Playing on that. But like Toradol shots up until recently were really, across the league kind of standard.
And Toradol's an anti-inflammatory, right?
Right. But some of the pain management, it's been a little bit wild for a while, and I just don't understand why there isn't more natural options looked into that are out there that have research behind it. And we're still pushing the same, Percocet, Vicodin, Oxy if you have pain, and it's. I saw at one point a teammate of mine who was unable to get treatment on a post-surgical operation without being put under anesthesia because of an addiction to pain medicine.
Wow. So he was so addicted that they couldn't even risk him trying it.
Yeah, and I know of multiple teammates over the years, I'm talking about high school, college, and pros, who have dealt with their own relapses around addiction to pain pills.
But see, they're so addictive. And that's another thing that the pharmaceutical company tried to lie about. The pharmaceutical companies tried to lie. I mean, that's dope sick. That's the premise of that whole show. Like, they were lying about whether or not these things were addictive when they knew they were. This is the same people. The same people that were telling you that you had to get jabbed are the same people that were telling you that opioids were not addictive.
That paid out $2.3 billion in the biggest fraud case in the history of the world.
Yeah, and then there's the Vioxx case that killed more than 60,000 Americans.
Which, when I was in college, everybody was taking Vioxx.